Wetco How to DIY. Welcome to another suspenseful Reuben the Screwman Wetco DVD. In this episode, we're going to be looking at bricklaying. We're going to look at building a brick braai, laying a patio, erecting a fence, and laying a basic footing. Right. Pick a suitable spot to build your braai, remembering to consider the late afternoon and early evening sun before deciding on the site. Begin by dry laying the bricks to establish a basic shape. Ensure that the final design accommodates your braai, coal pan and grill. Now, my friend, it is time to make any final adjustments. Once you've decided on the final shape, remove the bricks. You can now begin to lay the bricks with the sand and cement mix. Refer to the fact file featured at the end of the DVD for quantities. When laying your first course of bricks, make sure they are well bedded into the mortar. This can be done by sharply tapping the bricks with the edge of your bricklaying trowel. It is important to lay the first course of bricks with care, as these are the main foundation for your braai. If you're unhappy with any of the bricks you have laid, don't be afraid to take them up and relay them. After completing the first course of bricks you have laid, make sure all the horizontals and verticals are true. Use a Wetco level to achieve this. Now remove any excess mortar. Make sure that the legs extend from the back wall to exactly the same distance. Now, any fine adjustments can be made at this stage. By using your Wetco level, you can align the face of the bricks, either by hand or by using the edge of your trowel. Measure the width of the rear wall and transfer the measurement to the front so that the two measurements are the same. Adjust the front if the two measurements aren't the same. This, coupled with your previous adjustments, will make for a perfectly square base. Once you've completed your braai base, you may now consider customizing the base design. Here we have decided to extend the left-hand side to provide a useful shelf. At some point during the construction, you will need to cut a brick. It's very important that you follow the following procedure. 1. Mark your brick, allowing for the mortar joint. 2. Always wear eye protection. 3. Make sure that the brick is on a sound surface. Use a brick bolster and strike this with a club hammer. 4. Meeten out the cut edges with a chisel and a hammer. Always lay the cut edge of the brick inwards, leaving the natural face outward. Remove any excess mortar. Continue to lay further courses. Remember, under no circumstances should the joint of one course of bricks be lined up to another joint in another course of bricks. Joints must always be staggered for optimum strength. Spread the mortar over a few bricks and tidy up to minimize any spillage when tamping down your next course of bricks. Then form a V down the center of the mortar. This allows for easier adjustment and leveling of the brick to be laid on top. After you've laid a few courses, check your vertical and horizontal alignments with a Webco level. Make any adjustments where necessary. This should be done to all laid faces, sides, back, and so on. We've now reached the point where the support for our braai pan is required. In this instance, we've used a full brick rotated at 90 degrees to the side walls. When laying bricks on top or next to each other, make sure that the joints are full. That is to say that there are no air pockets in the mortar. This will stop any water from building up in bad weather, which will eventually lead to cracking should there be frost. Remember to level up as you go along. At various stages throughout the construction, check your verticals and horizontals, making minor adjustments where necessary. Here we have left this joint dry. In other words, no mortar between these two bricks. This will allow reasonable airflow to help out when you're lighting your charcoal. Now lay the last few courses to finish off your braai. Always remember, with a garden project like this, there are no hard and fast rules to a design. You can always build a wee bit of individuality into your projects. When the mortar is firm to the touch, it is time to start pointing. You will notice that a pointing trowel is smaller than a bricklaying trowel. This tool allows you to reach corners and generally make the job a lot easier. As you can see, pointing is a fairly simple process. It enhances the final effect and also improves resistance to water penetration. Never attempt to point up your bricklaying while the mortar is still wet. This will only make the job a lot more difficult and can spoil the professionalism of your job. Any gaps can now be filled with small amounts of mortar. Now clean out any mortar that might have blocked the air hole. Brush down your brickwork with a soft bristle brush to clean off any loose bits of mortar after pointing. We've decided to include an integral wine rack with our braai using terracotta drain pipes, which can be purchased ready cut from most hardware stores. First, lay a bed of mortar to build a support wall. Leave enough space for the wine rack between here and the braai wall. Lay your bricks as before. Now, realizing that a quantity of half bricks will be required, we have pre-cut these in advance. After laying a couple of courses, spread mortar to start laying the wine rack. Make sure you achieve a really tight fit. Use the same procedure to lay as many drain pipes as your budget would allow. It is advisable to cap these off with a garden slab or something similar. This can now be leveled up with a Webco level. Next to our braai, we are going to build a brick planter by removing a slab from the patio. Dry lay the bricks as before to determine your size. You may wish to remove 2 or 3 slabs. Use exactly the same bricklaying process as you did with the braai. For example, no joints adding up and so on. Even though this is a small structure, it is important to level up your horizontals and verticals with your Webco level. Next,